Wow. What the hell are you thinking? Really? Those are the first three things that came to mind when I heard the about the Tampa Bay signing Antonio. I was actually funny. I was actually out with my buddies. I was in a mini golf course. We're doing putt. I was right in the middle of myself swinging when my buddy turns to me and says, "Hey, Franny, did you hear?" And I said, "No." And I hear, "What's up?" And he says, "The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to sign Antonio Brown." I said, "Yeah, right. You're joking with me. You're joking." And he says, "No, really." And I say, "Oh, hey, let me see your phone." And I see it, and I'm like, "Holy crap! You're not bull crapping me. You're not making this up." So it is astonishing, really, and we don't have the specifics of the contract. I've heard that it's heavily incentive. It's like veterans minimum. It's a 1-year contract, of course, because that's how much you can only sign a player to for right now. But yeah, multiple things going around. It was really Brady that was pushing Antonio to get signed. Bruce Arians, I remember in the beginning of the season, said we didn't want him, something to that extent, and I thought, okay, he's not going to um, go to Tampa Bay. He's probably going to go to Baltimore and be with his cousin, or he's going to go up to Seattle with Russell Wilson. And it was heavily reported that Russell was pushing for the Seahawks to sign Brown, and so was Pete Carroll was open to the idea, and they were going to sign him. But then here comes Tampa Bay, boom, they sign him. So, I mean, now just look at it as a player. As a player, yes, it's a great signing because he's one of the best wide receivers of the last decade and of this generation. As a player, right, he's made some of the most spectacular catches, biggest plays on the biggest stages, and it's just. But you don't think of that anymore. You think of what happened after. You think of what happened with the Raiders. You think of what happened with my Patriots. You think about what happened down in I forget where the hell he lives. It was either California or Florida. Forgive me, because it's been just so long. Between him throwing the furniture off the balcony, then him no showing for the last game in Pittsburgh, then getting traded, then all that thing with the frostbitten feet, the helmet, and so on and so on, and then the whole thing with the sexual assault, which I think was like 50-50 true. And honest to God, because there was a lot of things that actually didn't line up. And whether or not you agree with me on that, make sure before you say, okay, you don't know anything, make sure you look at the facts and you ask yourself the specific questions. Okay, so I mean, we know he pled no. He recently pleaded no contest and had to do anger management, community service, and he's on right now 2-year probation, and that he couldn't have played. And the reason he wasn't signed until now is because he was suspended. He was basically serving a suspension till last week. So it wasn't until like last week where okay, that's where the news, because now everyone wants him because there had been numerous injuries to people. But now that he's signed by Tampa Bay, I think it kind of but honestly, I don't know if it's a good signing because here's the reason why. They already have Mike Evans. They already have Chris Godwin. You have Cameron Brate, Rob Gronkowski. I can't do the thing with my finger. You have Shady McCoy, Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette, and Scotty Miller. So just take it on just from wide receivers perspective. You have Godwin, Evans, and Miller. That's 3. So where the hell does Antonio Brown doesn't fit in here? Antonio Brown was used to being the number 1 receiver. Where does he fit in this kind of an offense? How do you spread the ball out? Maybe he'll take. There's a couple ways this could go. 1, he doesn't like how he's being used in the offense and will demand to be traded immediately or demand to be released because he doesn't like the way he's being used in the offense, or he'll take it as, okay, somebody gave me a chance, somebody gave me an opportunity to try to come back and regain some of the momentum I used to have in the NFL, and I'll take what I can get and start slowly try to build my way back up or maybe somewhere in between. Maybe he'll take more or less Scotty Miller's thing, unless they go 4 wide receiver sets, which is completely plausible, because Brian Leftwich has been calling some really good plays. To be honest, it's still weird with him, but that's it for another time. So honestly, it's just a question of how is he going to fit into this offense. That's it. And since he's been out, I don't know if he's been in shape or anything. If I want to make a prediction of how he'll do, I'd say maybe he'll finish the season around 35 catches, maybe 500 yards, 3-4 touchdowns, maybe around there. Because of how much left is to go in the season, and just because of he's got to really get into shape and everything. If he's not in football shape or he's in 50-50 shape, so it could go a lot of different ways. This could look like he could completely and utterly explode again and just fall out of the NFL and never played again. So, really, who knows what's going to happen? So I've given you my 2 cents, what could and could not happen. And, yeah. I mean, Brady I think, really did want him to come to Tampa Bay, and he probably pushed for it. But, again, he doesn't have the final word. Okay? The general manager looked into it and said, okay, what's the value here? What kind of salary, and so on. He said, okay, the risk is higher. The reward is higher than the risk. All right, so they see him, and if anything does happen, he's cutting the spot. All right, they'll cut their losses and everything. Right now, they see him as a two. They see him like as like a product like in Shark Tank, a product that they cannot pass on because the value is so too high at this moment. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully. Oh yeah, and then there's the thing with Arians, because I think Arians once made the comment that he knew Antonio was going to turn into what Antonio Brown had turned into when he was coaching him back in, I think it was 2010, when he was the offensive coordinator. So, that dynamic's got to, but, now he's got another opportunity to coach him as a head coach, not as an offensive coordinator, so he'll probably get him into shape and discipline him however he sees fit, and definitely Bruce Arians is one of the best coaches in the league, in my opinion, so he'll probably put the fear of God in Antonio, and I do kind of hope it works out, but if it doesn't, okay, then it doesn't. So, that's how it kind of works. So, see you next time.